Yo, 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 yo. Mic check 1 2 1 2. We've got the radio voice on. Radio B. In a place to be. Like smashed? I'm starting my stream. Lows. Like smash? Like Donkey Kong. Like smash? Oh, got a bunch of stuff here. Like smashed. Like smashed. Yo, smash likes, man. Encourage a motherfucker to go hard. I'm digging deep. Dig deep. As Jeff says on Survivor. Dig deep. Like, I've been digging. I don't know how much deeper I can go. Pause. Another pause. Or that's what she said. Or never mind. You know what? Fuck it. What's up, world? Yo, 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 yo. What's up, y'all? What's up, cyberspace? How's it going, internet land? It's very white. We had some warmth from the other side. It's because it's dim out here in the city. Live from New York. It's gray outside, though. It's fucking my whole desk up. I didn't look at that part. What's up, y'all? How's it going? This your boy, Crypto Bruh. AKA More World Peace to DJ / producer. I make the beats. All the beats you hear on this show, I crafted them. It's like kind of funny. Like, the world right now is kind of funny because, like, I'm like living through and you're living through it too, but like the era of the digital creative. Like, wow. Like, this shit started on Photoshop and now it's like, boom, you know, or like this shit started on Fruity Loops type shit. Now we're over here live streaming, talking about cryptos, and it's April 15th. It is officially halfway through the month. Yes, sir, we did it. 4 months down, basically. 4 months down, closer to 26 than ever before. And yeah, be proud of yourself, I guess. If you're still here right now, that's why I'm like, yo, I gotta keep going with the motivation, even though like the markets are down and they don't really make any sense. They make a lot of sense to individuals that understand like what's happening in the world and where we're going in this world. I think current world is so boring, and crypto makes it exciting. So I'm sure a lot more people will want to come to the more exciting side of being alive, right? If you're in crypto and if you're in it for the right reasons, if you're poor as fuck, and I understand why you're here, but if you've stumbled into this because it feels spiritually aligned, you know, with what you got going on, I think that yeah, you're the early bird. That's why you're here. That's why we're all like-minded and shit. And yeah, you can kind of see it today. It's Tuesday. Tuesday is usually when the markets sell off. So I'm in DCA mode right now. I bought last night just in case. And what's funny is it went up and it went down. So I'm like, okay, typical crypto brat purchasing action. As soon as I decide to get in, it's usually on some like weird ass shit like this. It's never on some choppy shit. But we got Bitcoin right now coming in 84, 85,000. Again, the window is getting smaller. So when you zoom out, like on the daily, well, let's take off these science lines. And Bitcoin is critical right now because, again, all of my streams, I be hating on cryptos that are not Zen because that's just the facts. They all suck. Like I said, reality's boring. This is, though, the reality that is crypto to masses or mass amounts of people. So they find Bitcoin, their life gets exciting. So I can't knock Bitcoin for being that tool. So whenever the energy just shift back to the Bitcoin, you know, making sure you have a few of them or putting yourself into position for maybe some sort of yield. Again, we're going into a new phase of crypto. So you could see these legacy coins, Ethereum, Bitcoin, really as DeFi tokens, and, you know, use platforms like DeFi Llama to find, you know, places that you can park your crypto and maybe make some yield, you know? And that's on the legacy side of the crypto sphere. So knowing that legacy is getting ready to really take on DeFi again, I'm positioning myself with a couple of bits because I think, again, it's going to be really good yielding. Like right now on Moon, well, and I'm on base chain, so pardon me. But on Moonwell, you got Bitcoin yielding, and then you also have Bitcoin Lombard staking. I'm also looking at stuff on Solana, like Marinade. This one's pretty cool. They got liquid staking APY cooking 8%. And this is just like a stake to their node thing. So yeah, like I don't know. I have this feeling where a lot of the mainstream attention is so on price that it seems like the alpha that people are telling the people looking at price is like, yo, gear up for stablecoin DeFi. So that's the alpha being pushed by the nerdy voice in the Twitter chat. But I've been talking about this for a while because I've seen a shift in the crypto space. Like maybe 4 months ago, 3 months ago, like the beginning of the year, I seen how much support people wanted to give the stablecoins. So stablecoin concepts are huge. That's where we're headed, right? We're 100% headed towards a stable coin world. I wonder, is there a real stable coin site? What up, Dank? What up, leader? I didn't even say what's up to everybody. We just chilling right now. I'm just fucking going off the top of the noggin. What up, B Miller? What up, Quantum? Frankie in this BZ. Frosty in this BZ. Bruh, been out the loop. When's Jack deploying X1? I don't know. You shouldn't be asking when is Jack deploying X1. You should be asking God, when is everything gonna be aligned? There's so much, that's what I mean. The world is so chaotic. Like X1 should be like the last of our. If you're like really moving, you know what I'm saying. Like if you're trying to find stability, or you're someone who nurtures stability, you're focused more on again legacy. It's just a smarter move. Like that's why X1 can't exist, because legacy has to work its way into existence or whatever. You know, like it shit's beat up. It's beat up. Shout outs Frankie with the 5. I need to stop listening to you talk about Zen. You get me way too bullish. Thanks for your being informative with your streams, bro. Thanks for the 5 wad. And sorry, I cannot not be bullish on Zen, bro. Because it's starting to all make sense. What's up, Josh? In this bitch, I got that USDD on Tron. Tron. That's what Justin Sun did right. Justin Sun turned Tron into a USD platform. Or like a stablecoin platform, I should say. So, you know, they've been doing it, right? See, I could say they turned it into, because it wasn't the original narrative, but he caught the wave quick in 2022, which when I think about it now, it does make a lot of sense. Like we've been kind of on this like magic carpet ride in crypto the last, 5 years since 2020, right? Life hasn't been the same in crypto since 2020, and we've been waiting for that 2017 banger again, but it's never really shown up. It's shown up in small, like in tiny areas. Like it's not been an overall market thing, and it makes a lot of sense when you think about the times. Because again, Bitcoin used to be smaller community. Ethereum used to be a smaller community. So we have a way bigger upside because the communities grew and the tokens appreciated in, rarity as the community got bigger and got more attention. And that's why, a whole bunch of infrastructure. You can't hate on the 2 top crypto doggers, because that's why they're there. Many years of battle testing and infrastructure has been built. But does not mean that someone else can't come in with a product market fit product, right? And stable coins are that. So if you have a blockchain, you already got product market fit, because the person that's going up against you needs a blockchain too. And if they don't have a blockchain, they're not even competition. So Justin Sun identifying that and changing his blockchain to be, I guess you could say, enriched in stables rather than like the classic crypto narrative where stables are bad, stay in the native. All that shit made sense until like we're in this new world where again, like someone could get hacked. We've seen this multiple times this week. Hack after hack. I think today it's ZK Snarks. Now who's getting hacked today? So this is how you know also a bull run or a micro bull or whatever you want to call it. We in a giant bull. But you know how people think like things can only last 60 days. So usually right before some sort of upside move, people start getting hacked. And I don't know why. I don't know why that's like a trend. Like, oh, we got hacked. So yeah, ZK Sync, my bad. I said Snarks. So ZK Syncs looks like they plummeted 20% after the hack. So yeah, the hacks are on deck, and then we have that Ohm hack that happened the other day. Or it's not a hack. My bad. Let me stop. It wasn't a hack. It was reckless. I think that's what they called it. Reckless leverage. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, my whole ideology on the RWAs is that they'll fall into place as life or as time goes. There won't be a blockchain specifically for RWAs. So people already have over leveraged themselves in this particular idea. And I think that's why like it's easy to hack things. Cause like people think I'm over leveraged in Zen, or they're gonna think we're over leveraged in Zen because it's hyperinflating. But that's our only problem to solve. And X1 solves that. Emission dApp solved that, right? More people who build with Zen actually solve the biggest problem of Zen and make it the most scarce. So they can actually reap the most benefits, which is, don't worry, like nobody needs to know about that right now. They can learn about it in the future when they start to build. But yeah, I'm kind of like rooting for Zen in this idea. Like this is my real rooting for Zen, is that we're such a fair launch from the jump that our contract is also just as fair. So like, again, you can build on top of Zen's contract and really bring to life pieces of its expression, right? And if you do that in the right ways, you could attract individuals to your garden, or whatever you want to call it. You can call it a club too, right? You can call it a cult, whatever you want to call it. I like to say the word garden though, because you know everybody pulls up to the garden. And yeah, again, that's why I like base, because a base, you get the incentive of base and the Zen garden, so you're like double dipping in the, I guess you could say, philosophical approach to your project. Because yeah, this is more of a an ideology, so you'll be attracting people based on like this ideology that you're in the Zen world. And I think that's very important right now, right? These companies, they got no fucking MOs. They got no, like, it literally, this thing is MO reversed. It's OM. They got no MO, so they don't. Look at, actually, when I was looking at this, there was a lot of flags for myself where I'm like, oh, they're hiring for US people. They need a head of US. It's a wrap. When you start looking for the head of a department in the United States, I just experienced some shit like, yeah, that shit's a wrap. US crypto companies will come from Americans. There won't be too many like companies that come from overseas. Like, they'll have to be like a Binance, and even Binance, the CEO had to do jail time, so there won't be that many. Binance might be the only one. Everybody else is going to be trying to shoot their shot with Americans, and that's why I don't think that's the future of America's crypto industry. Like, that's why the only people affected by this shit are people overseas, not Americans. I know a lot of Americans that didn't even know what the fuck this was. They're like, RWAs. Isn't that just a smart contract? And it's like, yeah, it is just a smart contract, but you know, you could build a whole chain off a smart contract. So I'm in it for the tech, bro. I'm in it for the tech. And again, like, if you're deving on that, why wouldn't you dev on this? Right? Because Zen is predictable. You could just go and look at ZenPub and find a prediction of whatever you're trying to do. Like, whatever you're trying to bring to the table, there's a journey here somewhere, right? I'm still looking at yo Yosef, if you're watching this, I DM'd you. It looks like the base dashboard has stopped working, and I don't know why. Just the recording of the base stuff has stopped. The last, it's been like 4 days now. I don't know if it's the RPC thing, but you could look here and see it that it's still growing. So it's over 5 million in G ranks that have popped off, and it just passed Pulse Chain. So now Base has more G ranks, or has a higher G rank than Pulse Chain with a lower supply. That's fucking crazy. Man, this shit is gonna play out the way exactly how I envisioned it to play out. And maybe, and again, the problem, you gotta do whatever you want to do. But I'm definitely not gonna pick a chain right now, like this far into the game. And this is what's crazy too. I think like a lot of people on Pulse Chain, you guys are positioned in everything, so you're gonna win anyways because you're in everything. But this is like where you could take the knowledge of what you know and apply it to Pulse Chain, and then next thing you know, that shit's ripping. It's just in its garden of Pulse Chain, where you might not attract, you know, new Xenians over. Like, you're really gonna have to convert people in that arena. But yeah, so this is on its way up. The next one to flip is gonna be EVMOS, and now it's not. And now you can't really feel bad for people when their chain shuts down, because Base is handling it. And I was already saying this before. Polygon is an inspiration because its global rank is at 370 million. So Polygon is the inspo that nobody can actually say that this product is hurting their database, because Polygon has not cried once. They had an infra issue, but that's everybody in EVM, because we're all standing in line. So if you go to any of these EVMs and drop a nuke on top of it, it's gonna stop. And that's why, again, it's so fragmented. It helps relieve the main system, which uses gas fees as its kind of like defense mechanism for spam. You know, everything else is using servers, right? They want low gas and low latency, right? So they get, that's why I'm out with the whole G rank. It kind of shows that relationship for that blockchain. Like, how fast can I get to the core, and how expensive does the blockchain see it? And layer twos have like a weird, a layer two business model is really weird when you really think about it, because you can't make money by yourself. You're gonna have to make it with Ethereum. So the route you take with the partnership with ETH is very important, because that's another reason why I like the Base thing, because this ZK, this hack is why you don't want airdrops. So it goes right back again. Zen is a playbook. It tells you everything that you need to know about crypto. Airdrops are actually not good for crypto. All airdrops do is feed the pigeons, right? Don't feed the birds type shit. That's an airdrop. Any of these Phantom has the largest G rank because it had the largest airdrop of like 2020. And a lot of people came from that world into Zen world, and they made so much Zen for Phantom that they had to leave and start a whole new chain, because there was nothing else going on their blockchain. It's still right now. It's literally, I was calling it the X1 layer 2. It's Phantom. Because it has no owner. I mean, it has an owner, and that's why too. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like a secondhand T-shirt. It's like somebody had lived a hella life in that shirt, and now you're just gonna roll up and put the shirt on and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna live hella life in this shirt." Like, I don't know. I don't know about that. That's like all the airdrop chains. So Base, again, it doesn't have this. It's 100% Ethereum. So I really like their angle of how they use ETH as the layer one and as the native coin, because it allows the users to not feel like they're in a different world. It's just, I'm in a low latency, low gas fee environment with my Ethereum, right? A subsidy essentially area with my ETH. And like, no, and like, again, they don't have to do no airdrops to affect the chain. Now we got to see how like ZK Sync does. I mean, maybe they have the right partnerships, right? But the question is like, you know, does, you know, are they doomed? Are they doomed now? Do they catch the, you got an admin hack? And I'm thinking about that right now too, because I'm trying to drop a project. I got a really cool project idea for this emissions dApp I'm building on Base. And that's where we are. Like, again, AI is speeding things up. There's no reason to sit back and think that you can't build your own project and just become a builder. Like, if you have a mind that builds, why not apply it and build? Like, it's really cool shit. Just need time. You need 4 or 5 days and the will. But yeah, so I'm doing my thing and I'm seeing the landscape of deployment, as well as going into the idea of like creating a contract. And I never really read contracts like how I read them now. Back in the day, I used to read contracts to see if I was going to get scammed. Now I read contracts to see how the functions work for me. So that's a weird twist to my matrix that Zen has brought. Now I look at other contracts and I also look at them to see how they really work, to see like, oh, where's the, you know, because you could see it where they're just like, oh, we're going to fucking drain it. Or, oh, this is a honeypot you can't return or whatever. But I'm sure we're going to get way more sophisticated apps or scams. Again, it'll be mathematical. Like, you'll be looking at it and you really might not understand it. But you could just use GPT to understand the functions and be like, oh, what the function does. So yeah, we're in a whole new era. You can build what you want. But the question will remain, can you get hacked for a certain amount? And does that lose trust with investors? Because if you're not building based on people just choose you, right? You're going to build the best product and they're just going to choose you. You're building with other people's money so that there's competition. If it's a chain like that, that's where I'm like, I don't know if it can recover. Where's their chain at? Oh yeah, ZK Sync. So their bridge has already been struggling. Yeah, their bridge has already been struggling compared to like Arbitrum, Optimism. And that's why my theory is still here, where again, it's smarter to join this bullshit than to be resistant to it, because I see what they're trying to accomplish, which is essentially you have Ethereum as the record machine, or like the ledger, and then you have Arbitrum, Optimism, Base, you know, Starknet, you know, ZK Sync. We're gonna have to see what they do. I'm not in the camp, so I'm just gonna follow the camp, and then what they choose, I'll agree with it being you know, some sort of consensus based nerd bullshit that everybody's saying, okay, this won't affect us too bad. So I'm paying attention to the data, where it's like, okay, these are obviously the dominant plays. And Base, again, empty chain. So Base is empty. No one's really bridging the Base, because Coinbase, it has a centralized exchange where people already buy Ethereum, and it's like Base ETH. So there's that part. I don't even know what that means still. Like, oh, there's this Base Ethereum that they use on, it's wrapped ETH that's used as gas, But most people buy it in the centralized exchange, so we don't know how they make it. But we use it. I don't fucking know. X1 soon. We're just in this matrix right now of EVM. But yeah, so my theory is you have a ultimate ledger that's recording everything. And then underneath the tree, you have layer twos, such as like Optimism, Arbitrum, Base, and we're still trying to figure out this array of layer twos. And there's going to be some sort of array. Or you can come up. You'll be able to like probably come up if you got a really good idea. Like you can figure out how to make your TPS if you're EVM. Really cool. You'll like pop up. But yeah, you got all these EVMs. They're all in competition now for everybody's Ethereum. All they need to do is make a protocol that works, and then they can take off. Some of these ones are already going for the we have the most support. That's why I like Base Chain, because I can see what they're trying to do. They're really trying to become a corporate permissionless blockchain, which isn't here yet. I mean, they're here like Solana, but none of them are really disguised. Base, like, I'm laughing at that shit because Base kind of has this angle where they can like hide the fact that it's a centralized blockchain. That's bullish. I think that the mask on the crypto shit is so bullish. A lot of people want to do that, but they're just too ugly. You can see right through their mask. Base actually might have the funding to burn it long enough for people to kind of forget that it's a centralized entity. And this is why I'm bullish on Base, but I like Arbitrum and Optimism because they're purring, like just purring, which makes me think that this is where all the Ethereum trading is happening. So if I'm a full stack developer and I'm building out a DeFi platform for like a client and they're giving me millions of bucks to make sure that this thing is efficient so that they can just advertise it and we all make money, I might also, be utilizing my tools, right? That's what I'm saying. The layer twos become tools at that point where you're like, okay, I got this client. They want to use ETH. I'm going to build their bridges using Arbitrum stack or Optimism stack because they're battle tested and they got the fucking TVL. And we can see this too because Coinbase right here on if you ever want to use this website that I use, it's called Rollup WTF. Here, I'll drop it in the chat. You can have it. But they have this stack zone right here, so you can see the stacks. And you'll see Base is an Optimism stack. And a lot of these are actually Optimism stacks. Now, this is why I've been trying to say, like, I like Optimism, but it's clear as day that this is not, like, this chain is just a proof of concept. Like, Optimism as a chain could disappear if they wanted to make it disappear, because it's getting to a point where most of their data is probably coming from Base Chain or, what else do they have here? This Mantle is OP stack, Unichain. So Uniswap, they chose Optimism. Blast had Optimism. Oh, look, P.o.P Unchained. I didn't know P.o.P made a chain. They use Optimism. Wow, Ape Chain uses Arbitrum. Interesting. Interesting. X Chain, Arbitrum. See, that's a whole other world, bro. Like, I haven't even opened up the Arbitrum Pandora box because it's so centralized. But I know it's over there. I know it's just looking. See, this Taiko, or Taiko, this is a new stack that just entered. And they have the Ethereum sign-on. So I'm very curious, layer twos they're different. But again, as a developer, you're going to want to know where you want to be. That's why also as a developer, Base has a better onboarding because it's at 0. So if I'm beginning my development, maybe if I dev with base, there's a lot of people learning, so the competition is, more playful. But like when you try to do something on Arbitrum or Optimism, you're dealing with the big boys, and it's going to be easy for you to get flushed, or it's going to be easy for you to look like a noob. So yeah, like you still, the goal, that's why I'm like, yo, why aren't we building a stable coin with XEN on Optimism as a proof of concept? Like that's actually the best place to do it. Like trying to figure out what to stabilize from the gifts, right? The gifts I think are the G rank and the price of gas. You have those two things, you can kind of put a perspective on how much XEN can come out. Because like there's two types of perspectives now too. Because since I'm making a burn coin and emissions coin, my emissions coin that I'm making, a lot of the logic on the tokenomics are based in this G rank and the daily growth, and trying to make a prediction based on those two things without the burn happening, because you can do that right now. There's no burn. So you can build a scenario with GPT to build this case study or build this scenario where it's like, what if the G rank gets to like 1 billion? Where could the supply be? How much needs to burn for a certain thing, blah, blah, blah. And it gets pretty nuts. I mean, like, I think we go past like 13 zeros usually is how far the sexton. If nothing were to happen in XEN on the 3000 on the chains with 3000 day amp, it'd be basically like we could make at least like a sexton worth of XEN coins, which is 12 zeros. And that's with no burns or anything. So like when you apply the burn, it really does make XEN very dynamic, because what we assume is unlimited is actually limited in the quantum realm, because you can predict it. It's you might not hit it straight on, but you're gonna get super close. So theoretically, you could take these same parameters and just crunch the math to try to make a stable coin. But the reason why I'm like, when I start to think about like, this is such an elite idea for like XEN, this staking APY is what makes it a little weird. So it almost has like this governor on top of it to make sure it doesn't get too wacky too fast, because anybody can join and get 14% every day. And this is going to end in 53 days, but theoretically, I think until staking goes down to 2%, which is 2020, late 27 is when staking will be 2% on XEN. That's when you will be able to really make solid, definitive predictions on what we can do with this like product. But until then, like it's, you can do things, but like if tokens come out of nowhere, that's like always going to be a thing for a second. And until X1 is live. Once X1 is live, I assume a lot of coins will start moving around, and then in that event, it'll eventually become flat. So if you pay attention to XEN, you'll be able to notice when like things are settling. Users who've moved have already moved, and it might take a second too. It might take like a year for everyone to finally feel comfortable with like their move. Right? It's not like people are just going to drop everything and jump into X1. There's going to be some people who see that as a signal to sell. And then there's going to be some people who see that as a signal to burn. Right? I think the third object, so it's balanced, is the person who doesn't care that either side is doing that notion, and they understand that the dust will settle. Right? That's, again, the solo game in XEN, your own difficulty, that person in the middle, like the hourglass. So Optimism XEN is going to be unique because you'll be able to see that over here. There's not enough coins. So either people pump it which that's what I assume. Optimism Zen, CB Zen, these are accessible Zens. Like these ones are in Ethereum. So they're going to move the hardest when X1's announced. All the other Zens are siloed. They're too far away from the hub. Maybe Polygon, because a lot of people have Polygon. And again, you can see from this roll-ups concept here that Polygon is a fast chain. So it does have users. So they could show up. Man, I'm not giving Polygon enough respect. They will show up. What up, Zero Dose? Base Heads. Base Nectar. What up, Tree City was? What it do? What it do? Airdrops with the chickens in their heads. Nah, so like yeah, like OP's in. This is where you like literally like if you can imagine this. Here's the imagination part. Like imagine creating a mint formula with OP's in that really does change up like the trajectory of like the fairness of the coin, and then like you like patent that shit, and then when 2029-30 comes around, you fucking deploy that shit on Ethereum and everybody's like waiting for your sick ass stable coin or whatever. Because that's what this one will always represent. It will represent the days and time. And I don't think it started yet. Like once X1 starts, that's when we go back to zero on every single chain. So like that's kind of like my philosophy on it is once it's like, oh, X1 is about to be live, or here's XNT tokenomics. Whenever that event were to occur, we are back at zero. So however much Zen you have, that's however much Zen you're gonna have. I've seen this part before. This part I've seen many times, where you've only been able to get so much until a certain point, and then after that, to get back to the point in which you've seen it, it's just like that's what makes crypto cool. Like you don't get to see this shit in traditional finance because you don't have this free market like piece built in, right? Like the market is pricing in Zen, not a robot. You feel me? Not some trading desk. This is regular people pricing in what they believe this token is worth. And again, it's fragmented, where if you get a little bit more cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, you might even find the one that's on the floor of all the floor coins. Right? Yeah, I've seen this one before. Like, I guess, like, it sucks because the one that I've seen it the most, and I guess, like, my first real, like, wow, this shit is real, is Hex. And I had to give it to Hex. Because there was, I think what I'm formulating now with the whole Hex thing and why it got to me in 2019, like, it had so many influencers behind it. And that was like the original way you made a God candle. You told everybody in the space about it, and then you start to move the price. And that's where you get the whole where the ETH go. Right? That's, yeah, don't fuck up your timeline, because then they're going to ask you where the ETH went. But see, Zen doesn't have that. You don't have to ask where did the ETH go, or, you know, how did it start? It's fair launch, no admin keys. People just making it with their gas tokens and selling it for, you know, native coin. That's it. And it's been 2 years, and there's a small community that has gathered to actually make sense of the numbers you're seeing on your screen. And I think that is what people doubted. They doubted this ideology that Zen would ever formulate an actual language. I mean, that was hard to see back then. And this is the same thing I seen in the hex chart when I first got in. People doubted that if someone was helping the price that people would follow. And boy, did they fucking follow. Like, that's why, again, you don't need to, as a founder, you don't really need to pump your chart. You just need to find the spark that ignites the engine. And I think XEN is going to set a lot of principles for future coins where, again, if you want to spark your engine, maybe you do it with burning XEN. Right? Build with XEN, burn the XEN for a better mathematical formula, right? Not just some extra whatever normal thing. Like, do something with people's XEN that makes them think differently or approach their daily activities differently. Like, I could see an array of different types of statistical apps that give people an advantage. And those could even be paid apps, which would suck, but you know, XEN's complex. Not everybody needs to know the game. Right now it's free. And again, once X1 is announced, I doubt a lot of the education will be easy to obtain. So, you know, it makes a lot of sense. Like, everything that we're doing, it already all makes sense. We're becoming so rare right now in a very liquid market. Man, I can't believe Ethereum just recovered. ETH and BTC just got beat up, but it was Ethereum that got the most beat. That shit recovered. It's like, that's the 15-minute. It's trying to get above. A lot of people are bullish on the market. I think that was a pretty bullish take right there. Because I was super sad a few hours or like earlier today. I was like, damn. They fucking hate Ethereum. But yeah, they don't hate ETH, bro. Like, it's so webbed in. Solana, though, is up next. Like, again, we'll be trading Ethereum on Solana. So, like, why not have Solana knowing that the ETH and the Bitcoin are going to be there? It's like, oh. And then when X1 comes out, why wouldn't you have Solana, ETH, Bitcoin on X1? Like, that's insane. But that's kind of where I'm going with X1. Like, when X1 drops, there's going to be stable coins. There's going to be wrapped legacy coins. It's not just going to be Zen world coins, because it's going to actually be attached to the real world. It won't be like your post-chain experience where everybody's just playing with the same coins inside the coin chain or whatever. Like, this, yo, low-key, this whole network or this whole like bubble, this is like a real bubble and degen progression. Like, for a split second, we got Bitcoin, and a lot of people who were degenning in this bubble went into Bitcoin. Every bubble, actually, even the TON bubble. Man, TON really fell off. 4.4 in trading volume. Damn. That's wild. Sonic, Supersonic, 96. Is that special? Is that special? Haha. Lols. XRP, 6.7 million. Damn. Slowly but surely, they'll fill this up. They have to. See, that, like, that's like the other thing too. We know how the game goes. You can put like, you could flood the market with like 50 million, and it will bring probably in 50 to 100 million. And that's when everybody starts getting hacked, when they all got to get their money back. you know what I'm saying? That's what Zen will never have. Like, it'll never have this like influx of random ass value. And when it does, we all know why it showed up. Because no one's gonna, like, I could be bullish as fuck on Zen saying all this stuff like, yeah, man, this shit is the best. Like, look at it, like design with it. Like, it's so flexible. But there's still a lot of people who say this shit is not performing. So it's ass. It sucks. And yeah, like it's just like it's until the price performs, people are gonna always think Zen is ass. What's up, super cool 01? Do you think now is a good time to mint on Zen? I think you should make a scheduled. You should make a schedule. Like, so like that's what I mean. Like, eventually, it's actually right now. Like I told myself, in the halfway through the month, I'll make my Zen strategy video for my members first, and then maybe I'll leak it to other people. But like one of the most essential things you need is you need to pick a chain. Okay, if you don't know what chain you're gonna even start your journey on, you should start there and do a lot of research, or just dive in. Like how I've seen some people, they just try to find it the way that is the OG way, right? Which is, you know, the more laps you do, the stronger you'll be. And that's how I got to base, because I played with every single one of these chains, and none of them, at least to me, were vibing as hard as base. And now I see within a year how strong this one is. So to say like, should I be minting Zen, is to really, to me, be saying like, where should I mint Zen? And that's where you should start. Like, yeah, you should find a chain you like, or you have a lot of exposure to, if you want to do it for free. So if you don't have a lot of exposure to Ethereum, but you have a lot of exposure to Polygon, or you have a lot of exposure, and what I mean by exposure is like tokens, like you have native coins. So if you have native coins on, you know, Avalanche, Binance, Polygon, you know, any of these ones that aren't ETH, yeah, like go over there and experiment. But would I say, you know, nest up? No. Right? Like that's kind of like my whole message right now is like, stop nesting on these chains that are wasting time, and nest on chains that make sense, because you might not see these other chains in 4 to 5 years. It's like some of them didn't even last 2 years. So it is very possible that you could choose a chain and it just fade away. But I think, again, if it's in an environment with development, it's going to be hard for people to shake it off, right? That was one of the issues with Zen on Eve Moss and Phantom. Nobody really built foundation on those chains. That's what you should be asking yourself as a user. Like, you have no devs crying about how much money they lost because they built with Zen, because you have to come out of pocket. So that says a lot about what's happening here. Again, if people go to Optimism and Base, or even any of these chains, if you really want Zen to stay, build something that roots itself in the chain, right? One of those would be like making your own moon whale. Like, you don't need a license or a fucking degree to make this shit. You need good math. But again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a degree or you shouldn't have a license. All those things make you proper and professional. So you should get a degree and a license so that it's easier for you to make the bag. But if you ain't got that shit, nothing's holding you back. You can create a very nice dApp and use Zen as the currency so that you can fuel your concept. And that's the whole burn emission ideology that I'm saying now. Nowadays, like, build with Zen, burn the Zen coin, bring your idea to life, because you're providing somebody with a two-sided experience. They're going to be able to get X and T. So they want to burn their Zen anyways. Like, they're already like, take my money or take my Zen, you know? And if you can build something that nurtures that experience, then you're more than likely going to see their business again and again. And that's kind of why, again, like, we haven't seen that part yet where someone goes, hey, I'm going to take Pulse Chain and I'm going to make 100% website dedicated to or providing liquidity for Zen and Pulse Chain. Like, that's how these things are going to start, right? You're hearing it here first, because I'll probably be part of the people that pushing this narrative because it makes more sense than anything else. It goes back to the whole beginning stages where's the value? And if it could just be rugged, are people ever going to put value back in? You know, and everything is based in the legacy. So the value is in the Ethereum, not in the ZK sync. The ZK sync ain't shit. People want the ETH. Right? So anything wrapped in ETH is powerful. Anything wrapped in Solana is powerful. Anything wrapped in Bitcoin is powerful. Zen is already wrapped in Ethereum. So you already can understand where I'm trying to go with this notion that like we haven't seen people hyper focused on this narrative in Zen where it might be one of the best DeFi coins to wrap your value in. Because again, Zen is going to be disinflationary and it's attached to X1. So yeah, everything else is like inflating. You don't know. It's got to get airdropped. People got to get it for free. See, in Zen, what else is funny? Zen is expensive. It was free, but only if you have the native. And that's why, again, the airdrops chains didn't survive because probably 80% of people in crypto are not here with like $1,000. Like probably 80% of people in crypto are here with a few $100 for a while. I'm talking like months. They got $100 for months. So they thrive off airdrops. And that's kind of like, again, like it resembles like the real world, like places with high inflation rather than places that have low inflation or have a better monetary system to handle the inflation. You know, I mean, I know it's crumbling here in America, but they holding it up every single day. Buses is still going and cranes are still swinging. So that's why, again, like we haven't approached the part yet where people are trying to set up trust between the native and Zen. Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that. The biggest one that I'll highlight is just that people want to burn for X1. So they're not going to wrap their coin with your project unless you've got some sick ass APY or you've already built all your steps out. Like you've got the third consequence on top of the fourth consequence. And that's being really professional in the way that you design it anyway. So why wouldn't you want to design 4 to 5, 6 steps out from when you release the project, right? Zen gives you that ability to think like that. But yeah, again, I hope we see these soon, but yet nobody has done it yet. And it makes no sense. Shout out to Joe Blau. He just invented this, the fast JPEG. I'm like, man, you should have included Zen. But it just makes me wonder, like, if like that's where we are with it. Like, it's gonna take real Zenians, aka people who are inspired by the project's ethos to make these ramps. It won't be like people who understand the ethos. It's one thing to understand it, but it's another thing to be like, oh, that shit resonates with me. And that's where we don't have devs like that yet. We do have a few shout outs like Steve Mon, again, Yosef. He seems so passionate about his Zen content that he's creating. Same with you guys, Tree City West. There's some other players in this game. They're all on they're in the Poland side of the game. Yeah, all the year there's some in the European side that I just don't know their names because they're on that side of the world and they're not like tools I use every day. So like the devs are slowly showing up, but yeah, we need hundreds and hundreds of devs because there's so many ideas to get out. And that's why, again, I think like, oh, you know, why not just include a CB Zen burn with this website and just generate some stupid activity. So you can be like, look how many people are coming through, because that was the original concept of Zen, was like it could help a developer drive traffic. But again, it just might be a thing where it's gonna take a second for people to still open up to designing with Zen. Fuck y'all, I'm gonna do it myself. Damn, Pulse Chain up 24%. Zenucation. Hey, bro, when do you think launch? What's up, Frankie, for crypto? I don't know, dude. Bro, did you take that Jack tweet as a hint to buy more optimisms in? That tweet is stuck in my mind. Oh, no, I did not think that. I mean, at first I had thought he was rooting for optimism, but then I quickly changed my mind. I was like, oh, optimistic. What's this fool's name? Cypherius. Cause you see, optimists do it better. Optimism. I hear you on that, but like that's what I'm saying. Optimism is proven that they are not a stack of or a block, or they're not a blockchain. It's everything but that. Like rooting for optimism is rooting for everything. Is there something like that? Let's see if there's an OP stack. I just noticed that their thing is OP stack, kind of like op stack and or op code in Bitcoin. That's pretty funny. solXEN supply is all out there and no staking like optimism either. I don't know. People are even bullish on OPZen or more bullish on OPZen than solXEN. Yeah, solXEN is kind of just like hanging out there. It's not really up to anything. Guess there's no stat page. Looks like it's a good blogging material to understand the OP stack. Optimism. I mean, unless like, this is where, okay, I don't want to choose up or say something that's like stupid and like everybody jump in or whatever. But like the only other reason why like I'm saying like optimism is such a mysterious Zen because it exists with no amp. So it's very predictable. It's a very predictable coin. So if you wanted to build enterprise grade material on something, it would be like this stack of Zen. Because you want to be strict about participation. Like you could be really strict with the OPZen. Everything else is kind of like again, it's very flexible. So it gives you this ability to have like people they own a lot so they can move around a lot rather than owning a little bit and moving in small steps. But yeah, both, that's the yin and the yang of OPZen and CBZen. Because they're both the same stack. CBZen is still enterprise grade because it is optimism. But yeah, maybe Jack had tweeted this as a subliminal, but at the same time, he has a project over there, so it could be just a troll. Jack the troller. But yeah, man, make sure you hit the like button. If you watch it on Twitter here, I don't really look at the chat, but make sure you hit the heart. If you come to YouTube, that's where I actually do look at the chat and I do talk back to everybody, and sometimes I throw up the prayer hands. But yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got for today. I would say, closing this out right now, when we're looking at Zen, I still think we're in line with hopefully some positive action, going into this weekend, going into, 420, cosmic number, a lot of people anticipate it, but again, it'd be nice to see X1 come out, but at the same time, if the real world isn't ready, then I'm not surprised there's no X1 chain. So we all are really betting on the world to behave. Like that's who you're trying to bet on right now. You're not trying to bet on Jack the win-win-wins. You're actually trying to make sure the world can behave long enough so that we can get this window open, and there not be any disruptions from the world deciding, to just, oh, we're going this direction, because that is a thing that you should think about when you're delivering something that's going to be of the magnitude of X1. Like, don't discredit X1. That shit is not just a rollout machine. This shit gonna change the development landscape of cryptocurrency. So it needs the right class.